you must learn that Prophet Muhammad, 1400 years ago, 1400 years later, we see it as an appellation, a name attributed to somebody. Muhammad is a gerundable participle. What does gerundable participle mean? Used as an adjective. So Muhammad is one who's worthy of praise. It was never taken out of context to mean someone's name. So anyone that did something that was worthy of praise was considered to be a Muhammad. Go to the next one. So now we got to fly. We got to fly through this. Because Muslims are really Christians on the down low. Okay, the Quran is not a Muslim corpus. The word Quran is a loan word as well as a harmonious morphological code. I didn't go over that. What is a harmonious morphological code? Once I do this, then I can run through everything. A harmonious morphological code. Let's start off with a homophone. Homophones are words that are spelled alike or ideally the same, but take on a different definition. When people are creating a new language or a new doctrine and they don't have a language and they're writing it Kashuni is what the Arabs had to do that are claiming Muslim or Islam today. Kashuni is when you write a language with a non-corresponding script. If you write the word Kashuni, all you're going to see is Arabs in Islam. Because they didn't even have a written language, so they had to borrow the Christians' letters to interpret their ideas. And if you do that, eventually you're going to start changing the word to make it look like the way you want it, because that's called transliteration. Y'all really gonna get this if you ain't got it when you watch this tape, I'm telling you. And guess what Quran means in Christian tongue? In Syriac, Quran is pronounced Kadiyan. Hey, look at that, that's Syriac. Kadiyan. What does Quran mean? Quran means lectionary. What does lectionary mean? A lectionary are extracts from the Bible to be used for religious instruction. The word Quran means religious instruction for Christians. Lectionary is the word that adds up to that whole meaning. The word Quran means Bible lessons. Real talk. And then I'll show you here, Muhammad and Jesus, Abdul Malik. Abdul Malik was considered a Muhammad of his time. Okay, this is one of the rulers of the Umayyad dynasty. Okay, and then you have also, so Muhammad was known in Mecca, and Mecca was the inception of Prophet Muhammad, mission 622. Abdul Malik was born in Mecca. Muhammad was sent by Allah, Jesus was sent by Allah. Muhammad, bloodline of David, Jesus of the bloodline of David. Muhammad invaded Medina with a 12,000 strong Syrian army, of which 10,000 died. Abdul Malik invaded Medina with a 12,000 strong Syrian army, of which 10,000 died. Muhammad received a Quran in Mecca and Medina. Okay, Abdul Malik was born in Mecca, raised in Medina. Abdul Malik created the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, celebrated the ascent of Prophet Muhammad. Jesus has been said to ascend right where the Dome of the Rock resides that Abdul Malik created. Point is, Muhammad was not an appellation. Anyone who did something that was worthy of praise, such as Jesus was known as Muhammad, and so was Abdul Malik. I will prove it to you, because I will not just give you 1.9,000 years ago, come back 800 years later, then go forward 2,000 more. I'm not all over the place with my research. We got to do this chronologically so you can know what I'm saying is true. Go to the next one. And I'm going to teach until this whole thing is exhausted. Now, let's look at the Byzantine Empire's currency. And they have Muhammad written on one side of their coin and crosses on the other side. Why would Muslims have crosses on their money? And why would Christians have Muhammad on theirs? And the Byzantine coin is 647 to 658. You can look it up. Muhammad on one side and crosses on the other. Why would Muhammad cross? Do you know in the Hadith it says that Prophet Muhammad's going to come back and break all the crosses? This is a slaughter. Well, you're going to love this next one. Let's go to the next one. Historical origins of Islam. I told you the effects it has. I got more effects. I hope I have the time. Sahih 56:22-37. I'm going to read this to you real fast. And for them are fair women. Notice I highlighted fair women. Very important. This is a Quranic translation. With large, beautiful eyes. The likeness of pearls well protected. As reward for what they used to do. They will not hear therein our speech or commission of sin. I need to tell you that this is a description of what takes place in heaven that they call paradise, which is down in Arabic. I need you to take the time out and realize that throughout this whole thing, you're going to be hearing nothing but fruits. And then you get a promise of virgin women out of nowhere, because that is a mistranslation. 5 minutes. But we're going to keep going. So the companions of the night, what are the companions of the night? They will be among low trees with the thorns removed, and banana trees laden with fruit, and the shade extended, and the water poured out, and the fruit abundant and varied, neither limited to season nor forbidden, and beds raised high. Indeed, we have produced the woman of paradise in a new creation and made them virgins, devoted to their husbands and of equal age. Okay, so they talk about fruit and they talk about bananas, and these are things you're going to get in heaven, and suddenly you get a virgin woman in paradise and missing all these fruits. But if we go from the book where they got their words from that they didn't understand, and when new diacritical marks were implemented on the language by ARAMAIC, they changed the frequency of the word, thus rendering it a harmonious morphological code. What were these words prior? Whenever you're in the Quran and you don't understand the word in the Quran, all you have to do is go back to the Syriac language, and then you can get the proper interpretation. So we go to the Syriac language, we find that the word for paradise or heaven in the Quran, and I got some verses here that talk about the virgins in paradise. When you go into the Christian language, again, that same word. The word they use for paradise is grapevine. Mind you, this whole Arabic verse is talking about fruit, and then all of a sudden you get virgin women in paradise. But what is the word they're using for fair women? If you go to the Syrian, the word they're using for virgin or fair is hor. But if you go to Syrian, the word is hor. But hor means grapes. So if you was to plug in, you get grapes here, and you plug in paradise as a grapevine, it would match with the fruit and the bananas that God is promising you in heaven. Or we can just think that if a nigga dies a Muslim martyr, he's going to be promised sending to virgin women, only to find out it's grapes. So if you go to Jesus' Last Supper, I'm going to read it real fast, I got more slides. I will drink not, and to you I say, of the vine fruit, this from now, from with you I drink it, in which the day until of my Father in the kingdom anew. So you know, Jesus is talking about that vine. This is Christian theology. And Islam took it and redefined the words that they took, because they didn't even have a written language. Right. It wasn't even evolved.